Testing, 1, 2, testing. Hello, everyone out there. My name is Chris Taylor, and my microphone is not on. You probably know that if you know me. And I'll tell you about a few things I've been thinking about, a few things on my mind, ruminating on. It's just bouncing around in my head. And Baby Marshall, I'd like to introduce you to my co-host and friend, Baby Marshall. Baby Marshall, yeah, that's right. Baby Marshall always says, a baby Marshall is still a Marshall. Right? Am I right? Okay. Baby Marshall and I have just returned from a meeting of the Council of North American Guitarists, and there were some very interesting developments there. Apparently, there are some trends in guitar playing that I want to talk to you about, and getting down to business fairly quick here. What I have for you tonight is the 5 signs that you might not be a real guitarist. Sometimes it's hard to tell, other times it's obvious, but there are a few signs. If you have more than 3 of these signs, you might want to start worrying and do something about it. You might want to just turn your head around or adjust your hat. Okay. Now, you might not be a real guitarist if you're not able to sing and play a whole song. If you can't sing and play one whole song, you might not be a real guitarist. And even if you're not a great singer, I think all musicians should sing a little bit. Just a little bit, because it'll help you to be a better musician. That's what I think. Also, if you can't play and sing a whole song, you probably ought to get your act together and learn a whole song and do your best to sing it, or at least hum it, or speak the words or something. Get a whole song together as best you can, and then make it better. Number 2 on my list here, number 2 is, now we'll give folks a break when they're just getting started. Of course, if you're just learning to play, you've never played a gig, so we can't really fault you for not playing a gig. You're just learning how to play. But if you've been playing for a year or 2, maybe a couple years, maybe a bit more than that, and you've never played a gig, well, I'm not sure that you're a real guitar player. I'm just not sure. You might want to check that out and get yourself a gig somewhere at Howard Johnson's, or a store opening, or an envelope opening, or something. Bar mitzvah, anything. Barbecue, pool party. I once played at an Army-Navy store. Yep. It was a gig. I did the gig. It was weird. I did the gig anyway, though. If you're not able to tune your guitar by ear without the use of one of them newfangled fancy tuners, then you might not be a real guitarist, right? Might not be a real guitar player, right? Is that right, Baby Marshall? Yeah. Baby Marshall plays this very tiny guitar, of course. It's kind of like one of them. It's almost like the one that Eddie Van Halen used on little guitars. Remember the little Les Paul that he had? That was cute, huh? Sounded cool too. Yeah, we miss Eddie. We miss Eddie a lot. Can't talk about that too much. All right, you know what? I got to talk about that for a minute. So finally, somebody is getting together and doing some kind of tribute to Edward Van Halen. It's about freaking time, by the time y'all get around to doing something. Edward who? Nobody's even going to care, Kind of a timely thing. Time is of the essence, There is a time factor here. So Sammy Hagar's getting together with Joe Satriani, and also you got Michael Anthony on bass, of course, was in Van Halen. And yeah, that's true, Baby Marshall. Baby Marshall says that he was kind of booted out and then brought back as a hired hand, sort of, around the time of the 1984 album, which their manager, Noel Monk, described as the most despicable thing he'd ever seen in music. And I bet you he'd seen some despicable things, but don't know why that happened. I wasn't there. I can't say too much about it, All I know is Mikey seems like a really, really good guy. Excellent bass player, too. I was listening to some of that unreleased stuff. The Ted Templeman Sessions was the title of the thing I found it under. And boy, oh boy, they were tight. They were playing live in the studio and just sounding just great. If you're a Van Halen fan, you ought to check that out. Get down to watching and listening to that. It was great, man. It was just great. Um, but Baby Marshall, what's that? Oh yeah. Well, anytime Michael Anthony wants to sit down and have a talk here at Real Guitarist, Real Guitar Player by Chris Taylor at Christian Taylor 4027. Come on down, Michael Anthony. You would be welcome. I will make you dinner and buy you some beer. I'm not going to hold my breath though. I bet you're kind of busy getting ready for this tour that you're going to do. And I thought Joe Satriani is a pretty good choice for that. Is there a perfect choice? No, probably not. Everybody's going to have their favorite choice, but Joe, not a bad player at all. And I think he's going to be doing the Van Halen thing really well. I hope he does a deep dive into the tone and gets that real together. I saw him recently on the Howard Stern show, and I think that his tone suffered just a little bit because they tried to keep their footprint, if you will, their equipment needs on that particular show down to a bare minimum. And so I don't know if Joe had his whole arsenal with him, so to speak, of guitars and amps and gadgets. And I imagine though when they go on this tour, nothing's going to be spared. Anything that they need, they're going to bring it with them. They're going to have it. They're going to sound great. Hopefully Dave will turn up at a couple of shows, maybe more than a couple, who knows. Maybe Dave will show up and I'd be really, really happy if he made the effort to try and do it somewhat like he did in the old days. I just don't know what to make of his vocal abilities today compared to the vocalist he used to be. It's night and day. It's like he's not even the same guy. If he turned up, though, in any way, shape, or form, in any fashion, that would be cool, If Alex Van Halen shows up, he's also been invited, from what I hear. I would just be tickled pink. That would be great, Maybe Pink will show up because they think they've invited everybody. Anyway, I guess I've covered that pretty well now. Where are we here? If you're not able to play a little bit outside of your chosen genre, so if you're a metal player, you should be able to play at least one or two soft, loving ballads or something, something sappy radio song, maybe something from the singer-songwriter, or anything, anything that's not what you usually play. You should be able to play something like that. Otherwise, I don't know if you're a real guitar player, You might think you are. You might say that you are. Some people might say that you are. But Baby Marshall, he has questions about it. He doesn't know if you're a real guitar player. If you can't play outside of your genre, you might want to look into that so you can become, in time, a real guitar player. Cheers. Excuse me. All this babbling makes me thirsty. And last but not least, what do I have here? If you're not able to understand basic music theory, I don't know if you're a real guitar player. You may be. Maybe this one is questionable. But, I don't think it takes all that much effort, and I think it's definitely helpful to learn the Nashville number system, for instance. I'm not going to go over that here. It's beyond the time constraints and form of the show, but if you're interested in that, just look up Nashville number system and you'll see what it is. It's a way of designating the chords that make up a key structure. I'm already babbling, so I'm going to stop right there. But if you're interested in that and you're a guitar player or any musician, really look up the Nashville number system. It's not all that complicated and it'll help you a lot. If you don't understand what makes a key, why do we say we're playing this in this key or that key or another key? What the hell does that mean, really? If you don't know, at least somewhat. I don't know if you're really a real guitar player. You might be a semi-real or a somewhat real, somewhat fake. You might be an artificial guitar player. But I don't know if you're a real guitar player. You know, right? Baby Marshall and I. We're so tired and punchy. We just got back from the North American Council of Guitars and Guitarists meeting, and I said that at the beginning of the program. We had a good time. We're talking with a lot of people hadn't seen in quite a while, and you know how musicians can be. They like a party, you know. And we didn't party all that much. We kept it under control, kept it down to a dull roar, so to speak. But we watched a lot of people partying. Oh, yeah, people getting my party on, getting my party on. I got to party down. You know, that was Baby Marshall here. You get a few cocktails into Baby Marshall out on the dance floor, talking to the girls. I look at one point, right? Baby Marshall's over there dancing with 5 girls. And he leaves me standing at the bar with our drinks. Thanks, buddy. Thanks a lot. All right. What else about music theory? You should be able to understand intervals and chord construction. And, you should be able to understand and explain in some fashion, why we say that this is a major chord and that's a minor chord and this is a diminished chord or a dominant chord. What the heck is it if this is augmented? What does all that mean? You should learn that. If you don't think that you need it, and maybe you're doing great without it, but you'll just be doing that much better if you learn these things, and your ability to communicate with other musicians will be increased quite a bit. Um, it's easy enough to just poo-poo this, so to speak, and say that, oh, I don't need to learn that. I just get up on stage and I wail. It's 3 chords in the truth. I'm so sick of that saying 3 chords in the truth. I'm just sick of that. I really don't think that's true, really. That's just my opinion, though. That's just my opinion. Which 3 chords are you going to use? If you were going to have a 3-chord song, try and put some truth along with it, you'd probably have a 1-4-5. Well, what the heck does that mean? Well, you should know. You got to seek these things out, and there's a lot of reference material around. I'm joking, but I'm being kind of serious for a moment. There's a lot of reference material. You should avail yourself of some of it. Put a little bit of effort into it, um, and learn some of these things that I'm talking about. And, maybe you want to continue with it after that and maybe teach yourself to read music, which is a daunting task to me. I can read music, but I am the worst at it in the world. I am absolutely the worst. I'm the world's worst keyboard player. I'm the world's worst sight reader. And also, I'm the world's worst carpenter, it turns out. I built some shelving in here in my secret studio under the ground in northeastern USA here. And you wouldn't want me building furniture for you, but the shelves I made are functional. They're working as shelves. So, Baby Marshall, do you have any honorary mentions that you'd like to? Right? Well, Baby Marshall says if you can't play Eruption, you're not a real guitar player, but I have some issues with that one. I think that's almost kind of extreme. I know extreme's Nuno Betancourt. Would you stop? Boy, like I don't know Nuno. But, I don't think you need to be able to play Eruption to be a real guitar player. It couldn't hurt. That's all right. Baby Marshall wants to point out that I suck at playing Eruption. I do. I could sort of play it. I hadn't learned it because I hadn't had a guitar for a lot of reasons. This is one. I hadn't had a guitar that had a good whammy bar on it and would actually stay in tune. So I stayed away from the whammy bar antics and tried to keep in tune because you gotta play. You might as well play in tune. That's why I say tune it or die. I don't know if you can see that, but That's what my shirt says, and I'm not kidding. It's tune it or die. That's better than you can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish. You know, tune it or die is better, I think. Yeah. Um, what else you say, Mister Baby Marshall? There, huh? Anything else? Yeah. He wants to know where we're going after this. You want to go out and partay again, huh? Partay some more. Keep it going. All right. We're gonna find ourselves a little hole in the wall. Dump a few margaritas into our gullets or something, you know. And we're gonna stay safe because it's important that you stay safe. Yeah, be safe out there, all right? And be a real guitar player. Be a real guitar player. What? What? There's a memo for me? Really? For me? Oh, okay. All right. Apparently, I got a memo in. You know, nobody tells me nothing around here. It's a memo from the Northeastern Guitar Council, and well, go figure, folks. Guess what? I'm not a real guitar player. Here I am up here talking shit like I'm a real guitar player because, you know, kind of thought I was, but I guess I just got to keep on working at it. I just got to keep on working my way back to you, babe. You know, I'm a working man. I'm working on it. Can't you see I'm working on it? Yeah. Are there any other working songs? Taking what they're giving because I'm working man. All right. Seriously, take these things under consideration. You know, you should be able to play and sing a whole song. You should play a gig as soon as you can. You never learn as much as when you play a gig, man. You know, shit just got real, yo. Got to be able to tune your guitar by ear. If you can't hear in tune, out of tune, you're not going to hear either. You want to hear when you're out of tune because you got to know that or you're going to sound like crap. Got to be able to play a couple of things at least, you know, outside of your chosen genre. If you're a super metalhead, you know, you got to play something easy listening, or God forbid, play a country and western song, you know, or two. Do something just completely off the wall compared to what you usually do. It's good for your musicianship, and should be able to understand basic music theory. You know, just start at the beginning. A B C D E F G, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Doesn't get all that much more complicated than that, really. You know, you got some alphanumerics, and there you go. You start at the beginning, and that's how you learn. That's how you learn it. You know, no, it's a little bit difficult. You know, I'll often tell somebody if you're not confused, you're not trying hard enough, because it does get confusing. But if you apply yourself, you understand it. It'll help your playing, and that's all I got to say about that. So don't take any wooden nickels. All right. Don't play like me. Don't do this to your guitar. Remember me, I'm Chris Taylor at Christian Taylor 4027. Let me know what you think about this. Go ahead and scream at me in the comments. I don't care. Or pat me on the back or whatever heck you want to do, you know. And Chris Taylor over and out. Take care now. Good night, baby Marshall.